In prior videos, I talked about the effect of transiting eras during 2024 and the effect of the lunar nodes. You can find those videos in the Trump 2024 playlist. Here I'm looking at a mysterious point called the Black Moon, which is not actually a planet. Rather, it's an abstraction, a mathematical point that is essentially extracted from the moon's motion in the sky, so that when it's closest to the Earth, it's called the perigee, and when it's further away, or rather furthest away, it's called the apogee. And this is what the black moon represents. And it turns out that it reflects essentially a person's shadow, and specifically almost always that which they want to hide. Secrets, taboo behavior, etc. Now, this guy, in many ways, plays this particular energy to the limit in that you see it here at 4.28, 4.5 degrees Sagittarius in his fifth, which is his romance house. And of course, that does fit really well in the sense that he does want to hide a lot of that, although at the same time he wears it on his sleeve. But he hides it pretty consistently, and yet he is quite shameless in his behavior. And when you think of the black moon, you would often think of shame. So in that sense, he is well equipped to use it in his own favor. And in fact, you see that 428 Sagittarius trines the Eris position up here in Aries, and in this direction it trines the Pluto in Leo. Black moon has the feel almost like a female Pluto energy, Plutonian energy, which also goes toward taboo. At the same time, however, given that his moon is in Sagittarius in the same sign and it rules the 12th, there is definitely a lot of hiding of secrets as well, since the 12th points in that direction. Now the question is, what is it doing in its transit? And this is where it gets really interesting, because you can see that when we look at where we are right now, April, this black moon, which by the way has a transit cycle of approximately 8.5 years, not quite 9 to do the full turn around the zodiac. So right now, it's transiting over here in Virgo, and wouldn't you know it, it happens to be precisely square his moon in this direction and the sun in the other direction, and it takes up pretty much the whole month and into next month. If we want to see it a little more clearly by changing the ephemeris display so that we get more of this here in, and we look at it here, and we can see that the black moon from early August all the way into early October moves through the degrees of his axis Hollywood T-square, which is a definite place where he is hiding secrets he doesn't want known, you know, the Neptune, Uranus, Mercury configuration. So that is unlikely to be a good period in that respect. Beyond that, the black moon continues through Libra. At election time, it is precisely semi-square the ascendant, which is not a good place for it to be in terms of getting a good outcome. And going further into the end of the year and early next year, then it would square the Saturn-Venus in the 12th. Again, more secrets he would want to hide. Of course, you have to realize that being in Libra, this whole time from early July all the way to the end of the year, this is his messaging part of the chart, the third. So you can expect scorched earth, shameless messaging, which is par for the course with this guy. He always does that. But the bottom line is that this whole panorama is not favorable for the outcome that he's seeking in terms of winning the election, provided he is able to run for the election, which I'm not yet sure that would be the case given bigger concerns that exist in other parts of the chart, which is what you've heard me talk about in prior videos in regard to his health throughout the entire year, but in particular during this month of April, which, going back to the very beginning, is also featuring a whole lot of black moon activity reflecting the trial that he's involved in. I'll tell you something else. The other player in this act is Stormy Daniels, which is what he is charged with. And you notice that for her, the black moon cycle puts it up here in the 10th. So it's a very public situation in her life right now. But isn't it interesting to notice that when the rumored tryst took place is back in July of 2006, when where was the black moon? It was also in Virgo in similar degrees to where it is today. So essentially 2 cycles of the black moon have passed. One took it into the 2015-2016 period, and now in 2024 it returns to these same degrees and brings up the situation again. The other thing that I found equally fascinating is that if we take her chart and his and create a composite, then in that case we have that the black moon and its transit is in the composite 12, which reflects the secrecy of the affair. In fact, the 12th is the 8th from the 5th, and it is known to be a house of secret affairs. And in the composite chart, the black moon is, of course, transiting through that same sign. So all of this is very reflective of what is happening, but once again, bottom line, definitely not to his advantage.